Coming up on the Entertainment Zone, celebrating its 50th year anniversary, the Rocky Horror Picture Show is back on a national tour. Plus, an American country music singer, songwriter, and now has a new brand of whiskey. We sat down with Lee Brice. And after the break, we go behind the scenes with one of the most beloved musicals celebrating its 46th year, Annie. I'm Front Row Phyllis, and this is the Entertainment Zone. We had a chance to catch up with Golden Globe, Tony, and Peabody winner and the original Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Barry Bostwick.
49th year. Can you believe it? And can
No.
you believe we're celebrating 49 years? You think maybe 50. Well, we'll be there for 50. You can believe me.
Does it feel like it's been 49 years since this was put together?
No, 49. Well, you know what it is? It's like 49 years of I didn't know anything about this movie until it really started going into the midnight circuit towards the late 70s.
Okay.
And then I saw all this craziness that was going on. And then I fell in love with the movie. And then I fell in love with the shadow casts all over the country. What we're doing with this tour is that we're going from city to city and we get a local shadow cast from that city. If you know what a shadow cast is, where the actors come on stage, act out the movie in front of the movie, and encourage the audience to just yell horrible things at us and be naughty for a few hours.
How did it all get started? I was talking to somebody about this. How did it get started that it was going to be a midnight show? How
Well,
did that start?
it wasn't successful when it first came out. And
Okay.
Fox, the people at Fox, or one particular man at Fox, who I can't remember his name at the moment, had a sort of in with these midnight screenings at some of these theaters around the country, at colleges and stuff. And he thought, well, this movie, when it was first shown, it was garnering repeat people. If it was Los Angeles or New York or something, and they thought, well, wait a minute, let's make this into a party. Let's make this into something where people can go to and find and create their own community on a Friday and Saturday night.
So, do you have a favorite scene or part?
Well, one of my favorite scenes is the floor show, where we jump into a freezing cold pool because it was a low budget movie and they couldn't heat the pool for us.
Is that true? That's why?
Yeah. It was nothing. We were in this little Bray Studios outside London, where they used to make all the Hammer films, and Hammer films were those horror films that went on forever. I mean, a very popular series of films, but very low budget. They use these two little studios, and then they use this mansion or castle across the field that we used for Rocky Horror Show. But unfortunately, by the time we got there, half the roof was gone. And so we were running around in our underwear, wet, freezing ourselves. When was it? October, November of that year. And but it was uncomfortable when we were making it. But now, 49 years later, I don't remember the uncomfortableness. I just remember the joy and the fun and the friends that we've made all these years, and how I've come really close to a lot of the cast members who are still with us. And we miss Meatloaf. Meatloaf has unfortunately passed on, and he was a powerhouse. I mean, he was really he was something. I mean, he was a rock and roll star from the feet up.
So, why do you think the show has seriously resonated with so many people? I mean, we talk about it, they see it time and time. When it was playing in the theaters, they would go every single weekend.
Yeah. Well, it was like it was family, for these kids at that time, kids or whoever, maybe were outcasts or maybe didn't have a club they belonged to, or didn't have a huge group of people who thought and maybe the same way or felt the same thing about life and their bodies and what entertained them. And so they all sort of congealed into this, I like to say, club. Some people might say it's a cult. I don't think it's a cult.
Right.
because I think cults are dangerous, and I
Mhm.
don't see any danger in loving and enjoying the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, it's just naughty, but nice,
Right.
and it's because we're on our third generation, it has become the sort of family tradition that if a child turns 11, 12, 14, they take him to the Rocky Horror Show, and the kids had heard about it, and they're going, "Oh, I can't wait till I can go and am old enough to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show," and then they sneak him in as an underage kid, so it's I don't know.
You've also been in so many TV series, movies, musical. Is there a difference in preparing mentally and physically for a TV show versus a live production?
Oh yeah, live productions, it's your whole day. I mean, you from the moment you wake up, all you can think about is when you have to on stage
Okay.
and have to adjust your energy, your food intake, your alcohol intake, whatever you're intaking.
Right.
Um, and it's yeah, and when you're doing a TV show, there's a lot of downtime, but on a stage thing, which I haven't really done a Broadway show since the mid '90s, a thing
Okay.
called Nick and Nora wasn't that successful, and I've turned things down since then because it was just, you know what, it's too much work.
It's a
It's
lot of work.
it's just too much
Yeah.
work right now, and I
Yeah.
I have other things in my life that I'd rather spend time on.
Now, did you always know that you wanted to do something in the entertainment business, even when you were young?
I was at the age when the Kingston Trio were just starting out, and so I was singing with my fellow classmates. I had little folk groups, so we would,
Really?
yeah, and we would entertain at the YMCA, or we
Okay.
entertain at high schools or prisons. We went to prisons in the Bay Area, and so that's just sort of started me off. Yeah, there was nothing else I wanted to do or could do,
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
and here I am at my age still doing it,
I
luckily.
think singer, songwriter, and now entrepreneur with a new brand of whiskey. Lee Bryce tells us more about what he has been up to lately. Welcome, Lee Bryce. Thank you for joining us.
Kidding me? Thank you for having me. This is awesome. We love it here, What a great event, great city, just awesome.
I look at your bio, I look at the awards, all the songs that you've written. How has it evolved from really your first single?
Well, how I make the music, the things I'm writing about, I've also learned, I've learned so much about production and then also just songs in general, how they go together and what really lights people's fire. The one thing that hasn't changed is I always have had a really, really, really big passion for writing stuff that's gonna matter or make people feel something, and whether that's sad or happy or excited or whatever, that's never changed, and so that's really been nice, but it's now I feel like I've learned a lot, so I'm hopefully making better and better music. I try to just top myself every record and do my best anyway.
So when you're out there on the stage and you look at them singing your songs, what's that feel like?
It's the best. I mean,
right?
yeah, I mean, and I try to pick people out and and stare at them and try to see what they're thinking, and then I love seeing the kids out there, like I'm at my first concert or whatever, and I'm thinking, wow, if I can be that memory for them, we better give them a show they can remember.
Now, is there a difference mentally preparing for a festival versus an indoor venue, or is it the same? Yeah.
For me, it's just go out there and give it every ounce of what I have every night. And I mean, some shows it's just me and the guitar, you
Yeah.
know, for 2.5 hours, and in some shows it's me and the whole band for 25 minutes. And so they are different shows, but I'm the same. I'm thinking the same thing.
Now, you've collaborated with so many and some of the biggest names. So, is there somebody that you're thinking that you'd love to collaborate with in the future? And it doesn't even have to, because we all know that country's kind of like, you know, pop is crossing over to
Oh,
country.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love that. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
that we like hook up Post Malone with you.
I was actually just thinking about that.
You were?
Literally, yeah, I've got a song I'm pitching over to him that I wrote called "Go Home," and
Okay.
legitimately, you know, that's
Post, come
on,
on.
Post, you know, hit me up, yo.
Hit him up. That's what I say too. Anybody else besides
I mean,
Post?
you know, I love him, and you know, John Mayer, I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of, like, you know, his musicality and his songwriting.
Yeah.
So you know,
I could see that.
he's kind of a genius. I don't know if I'm smart enough to be in a room with him, but you know.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think you could handle it. I think so. And also maybe Snoop Dogg.
Come on, bring it on.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
We talked a little off camera about the Clemson love affair that we have,
Yeah.
and how it brought you to music because of, unfortunately, you know, an accident.
Uh-huh.
And so, are you happy? Were there times that you're like, I'd like to still play football?
Well, I mean, you know, my goal in life as a kid was to play for Clemson.
Okay.
It really wasn't like to go past that, you know. And so luckily I was able to make that happen. And
Play
so once
football
that
for that
happened,
team,
yeah, so
right?
my team, you know, I grew up and I mean, my blood bleeds orange. And so once I kind of met that goal, you know,
Yeah.
I got hurt and the whole deal happened. But really it was like, okay, with this, I met my goal, so I had a lot of joy in that. And
Right.
then, I was like, and even a little deeper passion for me, you know, was music anyway. So I was like, now it's just kind of, it was like a sign. Like, now it's
Right.
time to go ahead and go do this thing that you've been waiting to do your whole life.
And we're so happy that you did. So, what's the first thing you're going to try, or have you tried here at the barbecue?
Oh, I have not tried the barbecue yet. I'm trying to
Okay.
save it up for deep dish pizza after the show.
Oh, okay. You're going to get some deep dish?
Listen, I know it's a
You're
smoke
not doing
out.
barbecue,
I know
okay.
it's a smoke out, okay? But I grew up in South Carolina.
Right.
I smoked.
You smoked
I
it
smoked
out.
whole pigs my whole life. So you know, I'm gonna take advantage of the Chicago
Deep
pizza.
dish
Yeah.
pizza. Okay. And maybe some cheesecake.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
like
Hey,
chicken?
you're right about that. Yeah.
Right?
I'm trying to like, you know.
Yeah, well, tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. That's what I say, you know. But I did hear somebody mention that there's brisket French fries.
Ooh, nah, I hadn't heard of that.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
I mean, I am probably gonna have some barbecue. I'm gonna have some.
The sun will come out tomorrow, and we had a chance to go behind the scenes with Stephanie Landino, who has been playing Miss Hannigan in Broadway's Annie. Welcome, and so great to see you again.
And you, Phil, it's good to see you.
So, you know what's so crazy is that we want to talk about Annie.
Yeah.
But before we do,
Tell me.
I want you to tell our viewers something that I don't think they know about, and I do, about your other gig.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, my
you're
other life, yeah.
you're a rock singer in a rock band.
Yes.
And what was it? A couple years ago, you opened for Bon Jovi.
Yes, we did.
Okay, tell us more about this.
Yeah. So yes. My alter ego is a rock blues musician. I was at that time doing two different projects. So my own independent band called West Side Waltz, which is a blues rock fusion band that I co-front with my now husband. And then the other band was called the Voxies, which was like a punk female front-led punk reggae fusion band. And we opened for Bon Jovi at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte in April of 3 years ago now.
Okay.
And it was a wild experience. 20,000 people is officially the biggest house I've ever played.
Oh my
and
gosh.
That was an experience, I'll tell you that.
So you get out there. What does that feel like to be?
Well, so the big difference between live music, and live theater is in live music you're wearing in-ear monitors, so like headphones. So you get out on this massive stage into a wall of people, but you don't hear them because you have your band mix in your head. So it sort of feels like you're with your band buddies and you're rocking, and then you're vaguely aware of this massive audience, and so quite different from what we're doing here with Annie, where
Right.
I can hear every laugh, every titter, and we're very responsive to that.
So talking about Annie, 46 years later, and is still giving families hope into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why do you think this production has resonated with just everybody?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a great question. We get asked a lot. We're coming up on the 50-year anniversary. A lot of buzz around that. And this is a piece that was written in the 70s, coming out of the Vietnam War, the turmoil we were in as a country then, written about the 30s, about the Great Depression, the turmoil we were in then, and now we're facing a new kind of turmoil too. So I feel like there always is something that resonates with people in this country about wanting a brighter tomorrow, wanting a better future for themselves and for their families and their children, and that dream of the sun coming out tomorrow is universal. And not to mention, of course, it's got a killer book, a killer score. Charles Strauss, legendary composer, and it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Well, speaking of fun, how fun is it playing Miss Hannigan?
Oh, it's the best. She's the best. Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. I really have nothing more to say than I'm 458 performances in of Miss Hannigan, and I find new and beautiful nuance with her to this day. It's always fresh. It's always exciting. She has depths that I have not yet plumbed, and it's just a joy.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, how do you really change up the character? Because you've been doing it 3 seasons.
This is season 3. It's a question we get asked a lot. How do you keep it fresh for yourself? But I feel the same answer every time, which is that, the show stays the same, but you are different every day you come. You know what I mean? Each morning you wake up, it's a different you. It's a different iteration. So as long as you're bringing your true, authentic self to the stage, it's always going to be new. It's always going to be fresh.
So lots of young children in the show.
My chickens.
They're your chickens.
Yeah, they are.
But how do the chickens not see you as Miss Hannigan and see you as the sweet, sweet Stephanie?
Yeah, it's important and was very important to me each year. And Jen Thompson, our incredible director, very much saw my vision on this and gave me my space to do what I wanted, which was before we begin rehearsal, when I sit down with the girls on the first day, I kneel down with them and I say, listen, we're going to be doing some stuff on stage that is scary, and we want it to be scary for the audience, and we want it to be really mean, and Miss Hannigan's really mean, but I always want you to feel safe. So if there's ever a moment as we're working you don't feel safe, you just say, stop, we'll fix it, because I want you to know that while we're going to do scary stuff on stage, we're always safe. I'm always a safe place for you. So we've been able to establish that each year, and the balance has been struck.
And we talked a little bit about my favorite character besides you, Sandy.
Sandy! We have so
you're
many
in
good.
love with
I'm in love
Sandy.
with Sandy. Yes, I was saying that Kevin, the dog who plays Sandy, is my tour boyfriend. So yes, he is just the sweetest, kindest, and most professional dog. I mean, that dog doesn't miss a beat. He's on it.
Really?
Oh
He's
yeah.
on
The kids
cue.
and the dogs are like the most professional in the whole company. They never miss. They're chef's kiss. W.C. Fields has this quote about you're never supposed to work with children and dogs. I just don't think he could be more wrong.
Really?
Yeah, they're just such a delight, and they really keep it in perspective what a joy it is to get to come do this job every day.
So what is show day like? What are some of the things you get to do?
Yeah, show day. I'm an early bird. I like to get to the theater very early and get started. Start with the warm up. Start with the prep, and then I'm on stage at top of show with the kids. So we're a go right from curtain up, and at this point now we're just kind of we're on the ride. You just strap in every day and you say here we go, and then we play
And have fun. And the audiences are different every night. What makes it so different?
Oh, the more full the house is, the more permission everybody feels to get real vocal and laugh real loud and cheer, and those are obviously the best. It's great when an audience is fully invested, but even on the smaller houses, the quieter crowds, they really enjoy it. And in a space like this, near what I think it's 4,500 seats or something extraordinary. It's pretty large in terms of theater.
Right.
to feel like you're reaching everybody is sort of like, do I have them all? I think I got them. And on the nights where you can't totally hear them as well, I always get messages afterwards. Oh my gosh, it was such an amazing show. Thank you so much. So people are really enjoying it, and I feel grateful.
Yes! 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 Easy Street! Easy Street! Annie's Love! Yes, sir!
Thank you for spending part of your day with us, and we'll see you right back here next week. I'm Front Row Phyllis, and this is the Entertainment Zone.